Today on Rappler. A Rappler exclusive. Records show lawmakers dictated where their pork went 99% of the time. Sex for Flight victims demand government action against their abusers. And 2 Filipino women are arrested in Hong Kong for smuggling drugs worth $1.4 million. Hello, I'm Maria Ressa. Welcome to Rappler, your social news network. Government audit reports show lawmakers dictate which non-governmental organizations get development funds 99% of the time. Documents show these NGOs continue getting funds even after state auditors questioned their qualifications. Rappler studied Commission on Audit reports on 2 government corporations, which a whistleblower identified as the source of funds to fake NGOs. In exchange for ensuring which NGOs get the funds, lawmakers allegedly get commissions. In its reports on the National Agribusiness Corporation, or NABCOR, and the ZNAC Rubber Estate Corporation, ZREC, between 2007 and 2011, COA noted how senators endorsed NGOs to implement Priority Development Assistance Fund projects for these 2. During that 5-year period, COA found that 1.35 billion pesos in the PDAF, or their Development Assistance Fund of at least 49 lawmakers coursed through NABCOR went to 26 dubious NGOs. The COA 2009 to 2010 report on ZREC reads, the offices of Senators Juan Ponce Enrile, Jinggoy Estrada, Ramon Revilla, and Congressman Rene Velarde all nominated Pangkabuhayan Foundation to implement their projects. A lawmaker tells Rappler, lawmakers choose the NGO 99% of the time. Interviewees privy to the budget process say lawmakers may endorse NGOs in the documents submitted to the Budget Department. Every year, each senator gets 200 million pesos while representatives get 70 million pesos. There's a system and paper trail that should guarantee funds are properly spent. Lawmakers interviewed by Rappler say a scam can only happen if there is collusion. The money trail starts with lawmakers identifying beneficiaries of their funds. These nominations are submitted to the Budget Department for approval. If the department approves, it releases the money to the implementing agency. Government corporations are supposed to vet the NGOs availing of funds, but sources say lawmakers can still suggest which NGOs to choose. In recent years, there's a trend of pork funds funneled through NGOs that supply items that could, quote, disappear, like fertilizers, pesticides, and other consumable items. It's harder to track them. Speaking to Rappler, Budget Secretary Abad says the government is considering an accreditation system for NGOs that seek funding from lawmakers' pork barrel. Lingayen Dagupan Archbishop Socrates Villegas issues a pastoral statement Monday on the pork barrel controversy. Villegas is the incoming president of the Catholic Bishops' Conference of the Philippines. He issues guidelines on the use of government funds that are supposed to help the poor and the marginalized. Villegas says the faithful should follow a policy of, quote, walang hihingi, or nobody asks, when relating to politicians. On the government's part, Villegas says it's important for those who approve the budget to be distinct and separate from those who implement projects. Senate Finance Committee Chairman Chis Escudero wants the Senate to investigate the alleged padrino or patronage system in the Bureau of Customs following statements from customs officials that politicians increase corruption in the agency. Escudero files a resolution asking the Blue Ribbon Ways and Means and Finance Committees to look into the system in the Bureau. He says, we in Congress should police our own ranks. Who else will look into this if we ourselves turn our eyes away from it? The resolution comes a week after President Aquino shamed customs officials in his State of the Nation address for corruption and incompetence. Without naming names, Customs Chief Rufy Biazon says corrupt employees are emboldened with their illegal activities because of political backers. He says, we've come across situations where the corrupt ones have the audacity because they know some people are backing them up. Lawmakers urge Biazon to drop names, but he has yet to do so. Senator Sonny Trillanes raises questions about the proposed Senate probe into the patronage system in the Bureau of Customs. In an interview Tuesday, Trillanes says President Aquino already knows the politicians backing corrupt customs employees. Trillanes refuses to name the senators supposedly involved. He says if the probe's objective is to find the problem, Malacanang lawmakers already know what it is. The senator adds, if we investigate to find out what the problem is, who are we kidding? I know who the padrinos are. President Aquino also knows the patrons. So what is this for? Victims of the alleged Sex for Flight scheme demand government action after nearly 6 weeks of waiting. Political party Akbayan joins 7 victims in denouncing a possible whitewash by the Department of Foreign Affairs and the Department of Labor and Employment. Akbayan's representatives in the House, Walden Bello and Ibarra Gutierrez, launched a congressional investigation Tuesday. One of the victims says they plan to file criminal and administrative charges against the suspects.
Yung hindi po na napapatawan ng parusa si Mr. Tony Villafuerte po. Sana lang po, huwag lang pong bigyan ng ibang ahensya na ipagtanggol po si Mr. Tony Villafuerte. Babae din po kayo. Sana nararamdaman hindi po ang nararamdaman namin. Marami pa pong maaharas na babae.
The Sex for Flight scheme involves sexually abusing overseas Filipino workers in exchange for repatriation, as disclosed by Bello last June 18th. On Tuesday, Bello hits the DFA and the Department of Labor and Employment for failing to prosecute and impose disciplinary sanctions on the suspects. Bello says Foreign Secretary Albert Del Rosario promised to recommend action against the 13 individuals tagged in the scheme. But Del Rosario reportedly told Bello the department is, quote, studying the legal implications of the proposed actions. Bello says DFA and the Department of Labor should show they're, quote, serious and hold their people accountable.
The DOLE and DFA must realize that they cannot get away with stalling in the investigation and prosecution of the criminals in their ranks. The public will not allow this.
In a statement, DFA spokesman Raul Hernandez says only 2 of the 13 accused individuals come from the DFA. The remaining 11 are from the Labor Department. Hernandez says the Department of Labor is conducting its own investigation. 2 Filipino women are arrested in Hong Kong for alleged possession of 14.5 kilograms of methamphetamine worth 60 million pesos or $1.4 million. The Philippine Department of Foreign Affairs says the women were arrested Sunday at Hong Kong's airport on their way to Clark Airport in Pampanga. Airport authorities discovered the drugs concealed inside false compartments of 3 suitcases. Under Hong Kong law, trafficking drugs carries a maximum sentence of life imprisonment and a fine of 5 million Hong Kong dollars. Pope Francis is eyeing a visit to the Philippines, the world's 3rd biggest Catholic nation, the largest Catholic nation in Asia. Vatican watcher John Allen quotes Pope Francis as saying he's considering an Asian trip that his predecessor, Pope Benedict XVI, did not accomplish. Francis says this on board a plane on his way back to Vatican City, coming from World Youth Day celebrations in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Francis says, I think a trip to Asia can be done. Maybe Sri Lanka, maybe the Philippines. In a chat with journalists who flew back to Rome with him, Francis also reaches out to gays, saying it's not his place to judge them. He adds, if someone is gay and seeks the Lord with goodwill, who am I to judge? Good news for tourists coming to the Philippines. They can stay longer, visa-free. On Monday, the Philippines announces it will extend the visa-free stay of foreigners from 151 countries. Starting August 1, nationals from these 151 countries can stay in the Philippines for up to 30 days instead of only 21 days. The Department of Foreign Affairs says the move targets foreigners, quote, who plan to engage in tourism activities or explore the Philippines as an investment destination. Let's now look at Rappler's Wrap for today, a list of the 10 most important events around the world you shouldn't miss. At number 4, Israelis and Palestinians resumed direct talks for the first time in 3 years in Washington, D.C., with the United States urging negotiators to make tough compromises to reach a peace deal. Israeli chief negotiator Tzipi Livni and her Palestinian counterpart Saeb Erekat meet with top U.S. diplomat John Kerry. The new U.S. State Secretary staked much of his reputation on bringing both sides back to the talks. As a first step, Israel says it will release 104 Palestinians imprisoned before the 1993 Oslo Accords, some of whom are said to have been involved in attacks on Israelis. At number 8, teeth can grow from the most unlikely of sources, human urine. A study published in the Cell Regeneration Journal says urine can be used as a source of stem cells that could be grown into tiny tooth-like structures. But a stem cell scientist at the University College of London says urine is one of the worst sources of stem cells. The teeth developed from these cells are also found to be not as hard as natural teeth. At number 9, why do couples stay together for the long haul? One leading theory says men stayed around to help raise children. 2 new studies released Monday say dads become involved parents later after a period of monogamy. British and New Zealander researchers say the practice helped fathers protect their young from being murdered by rival males. Another study concludes monogamy is a result of competition, but the researchers say their analysis excludes humans. And at number 10, ever heard of breakup text? It is the latest app that can make the most awkward and painful part of ending a relationship bearable. The app offers to send a full text message to the partner you want to break up with, dramatic backstory included. Jack Levine and Lauren Leto created the iPhone app for fun, but Levine acknowledges that instead of being brave enough to break up in person, some people may resort to using breakup text. For the full top 10, visit Rappler.com's The Wrap. 2 weeks after Cory Monteith's death, his partner and Glee co-star Lea Michele tweets for the first time. The actress posts a photo of herself and Monteith with a message of gratitude to the public. She says, "Thank you all for helping me through this time with your enormous love and support. Cory will be forever in my heart." Michele's representative earlier said Monteith's sudden death left her, quote, devastated beyond belief. Monteith was found dead in a Vancouver hotel on July 13th. A coroner says the Canadian actor died of, quote, a mixed drug toxicity involving heroin and alcohol. A primetime drama tops TV ratings when it tackles a taboo topic on Philippine TV, gay relationships. Jeet Tonji reports.
I'm here on the set of My Husband's Lover, a GMA teleserye that has sparked discussions of homosexuals in relationships in mainstream media.
The teleserye gains momentum in the ratings because of its controversial content, prompting even Catholic bishops to react. It has never been done on Philippine TV before, having a gay relationship as the main storyline. Director Dominic Zapata says it's challenging.
And this is a new story to tell for me, so it's gonna flex some new muscle on my part. Tapos, then I realized, there will be limitations. Why should I focus on the limitations when if this hasn't been done on television, then there's so much more opportunities than there are limitations. So why should I focus on the limitations?
Zapata says directing it is like walking a tightrope. He says there are no hard and fast rules when showing how 2 men love each other.
There was a scene na post-coital conversation in bed. Sabi, you can't show them both naked in bed. I mean, both topless in bed. A couple of days after, direct, hindi na raw pwede. We can't insinuate that they made love. So I had to reshoot that scene.
Newcomer Tom Rodriguez, who plays Vincent the husband, says he was scared at first. He appreciates how it departs from the hysterics of telenovelas.
We keep it truthful. We keep it basic. We don't try to make it over the top, or we don't try to include things like kidnapping, shootings, violence, and stuff like that. We try to just portray something that would happen in real life. So I think that's the most groundbreaking part, is that even the heavy scenes, no one has to be hysterical or no one has to go, rah.
Actor Dennis Trillo, who plays Eric the gay lover, says he hopes it sets a standard on local TV.
Sana lang talaga masundan pa ng maraming ma-open pa ng iba't ibang klaseng themes at magkaroon sila ng iba't ibang ideas, dahil nakakasawa na makanood minsan kasi mula bata pa lang ako, matagal na ako nakakapanood ng mga shows na pare-pareho lang yung plot. Sana ito na yung start para magkaroon na ng revolution sa TV and cinema industry.
Trillo was offered the role of the unfaithful spouse, but wanted something different. He considers the treatment of the love scenes key to the show's success.
Oh, medyo in between sa Jade and the Pearl of Heartbreak. I'll just call you back.
My Husband's Lover from GMA is definitely groundbreaking because it conditions an audience to expect more innovative television content. And hopefully, this will pave the way for more thought-provoking material that you'll see on television that will tackle issues of social relevance. This is Gitanji, Rappler Manila.
Every story on Rappler has a mood meter which gives you 8 emotions to choose from. Click how you feel and your vote comes down to the mood navigator that's in the middle of the front page. It crowdsources the mood of the day. It also gives you the top 10 stories that have affected our readers the most. If you take a look, these 10 stories have affected them emotionally. They've gotten the most number of votes on their mood meter. If you look at it right now, the pork barrel is a real issue that makes people angry. Pork barrel queen parties with Solons. These are pictures with lawmakers. You have 90% angry, 3% annoyed, 2% sad. And then the story that's gotten the most number of votes, Napoles' daughter blogs about lavish lifestyle, is 6% annoyed, 84% angry. Finally, another story that's also gotten a lot of angry votes, 69% angry on the first stone. This is a piece by Pat Evangelista on the second day of oral arguments in the Supreme Court against the RH law. These three smack in the middle. Today, it's a red day. Most people are angry. Well, that's Rappler's Newscast for today, Tuesday, July 30th, 2013. It is near the end of the month. Visit Rappler.com and watch our newscast Monday to Friday. Tell us how you feel on our mood meter and help us crowdsource the mood of the day. I'm Maria Ressa. As we say at Rappler, tomorrow begins today.